Here we go. Let's share my screen and we will get moving. And there's people coming in still, so I'll keep admitting them as we go here. All right, can everybody see my screen? Can you see iconic ideas? Summer
Yep.
programming brainstorm? Perfect. All right. Well, welcome to all of you that are in here already with me. I know some of you, but I'm still meeting a few other people. So feel free to throw in the chat where you're coming from or what type of population that you're working with. This session is open to everybody. So you may have seen it posted on our Facebook. You may have seen it on LinkedIn, on Go Icons. You may have seen me posted on Facebook myself. I'm pretty active out there, or on my TikTok too. So there's lots of different places that this has been posted. So wherever you're coming from, welcome. I'm excited to have all of you. Go Icons brainstorming session was something that we did back last year, and then it sort of fell off the bandwagon. And now, because Tracy suggested starting that back up because there were fun sessions before, I wanted to get everybody back together so that we could throw ideas around and see what we can come up with for summertime. So you may have seen my screen not big in presentation mode, and that's for a reason because I want this to be a collaborative session. And so I will throw in the chat later in a couple slides a link so that you're able to actually go in and access and throw ideas down if you'd like. But we'll get to that in a second. First of all, who am I? I'm Karina. I am Go Icon's Community Engagement and Program Development Manager. I have 17, 18 years of experience in senior living. I'm up in Canada, actually. I'm one of the few Go Icon Canadians, but I've done a lot of time in long-term care, a lot of time in memory care, assisted living, independent living, luxury independent living, day programs, and I've helped open a few different buildings too. And now my role at Go Icon is a really unique and fun role because I get to work with a lot of the life enrichment and activity teams to brainstorm different ideas as to what they could implement in their own communities. And then I also have other people that will reach out to me independently from communities that we're working with to go, okay, I have a resident that is living with this sort of impairment and I don't know what to do with them. Let's brainstorm ideas together so that we can come up with a solution that supports that resident. And so that's something that I really, really love doing in my work now on the other side is working with those life enrichment teams and activity teams to be able to find solutions for whatever they're dealing with within their communities. So just looking here, again, I host the Smart Aging podcast with Go Icon. We're just about to launch season 2, which we're really excited about. And I also host Engaged in Rec podcast, which is a podcast from a very long time ago. And I'm going to launch season 4 of that. And I love brainstorming ideas with you. So there we go. So let's make this really interactive. The more ideas that we can throw out together, the better. I'm going to share in our chat a link that you will have edit access into here. So this is a whiteboard, if you've ever seen a whiteboard in Canva. And you can come over to the left-hand side, you'll see a sticky note. So if you click on the sticky note, you can come and drag it anywhere, and then you can add your ideas. If you don't want to do this, that's okay. You can add something in the chat. You can also just unmute yourself. This is really informal. So any way that you want to get your point across or get any ideas out there, the better. Whatever works for you. You can also click on this text and add a text box and write your idea in the text box. And that's okay too. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat right now. And hopefully that will work for you. And you can follow along in there if you'd like. So again, use the chat often, use sticky notes if you can, throw ideas out there using your unmute and or in the chat too. All good ways. So kicking this off, let's talk about what's trending this summer in programming. So one of the biggest trends that we're seeing right now is moving away from isolated activities towards more experiential programming. So what do I mean by that? I mean immersive theme week. So thinking about one theme. Somebody call out a theme for me. Anybody. Give me an idea for a theme. I'll do
Health.
one. Pardon?
Health or exercise.
Health or exercise. Okay. What I mean by theme was more like, let's say camp theme, a camp theme in whole. So instead of doing just like one camp trivia, I mean making it immersive within your community and incorporating different food that would be camp themed food, intellectual program. So that would be camp trivia. Physical program would be like a camp game. And I'm going to go and show you more of these in just a second in one of the other slides. But looking at our dimensions of wellness, and now there are more than 6 dimensions of wellness, and how we can incorporate that to make a big immersive theme with different departments all included in that. So it's not just a one-off, it's more of an experience. And then social or sensory engagement is another big trend we're seeing right now. How to incorporate sight, sounds, smells, taste, and touch into your programming. And that can be in a lot of different ways using, that could be either like, I think of birds for an example. You can use like the sound of birds. You can touch feathers. Don't taste the bird unless you want to do like chicken or something. but you know what I mean. Trying to incorporate more of those senses into the programming that you're offering. Resident-led programs are also quite trending right now, and I could talk a little bit more about that afterwards. Outdoor wellness, bringing the inside activities that you would do outside, getting them fresh air, getting them outside to enjoy that weather while we can. I'm up in Canada, and I know a lot of you are in the northern states where it was like 4 degrees Celsius on the weekend. It was still freezing for me. So the nice weather that we can get, the better. Experiential dining is really thinking about those themes as well and incorporating your dining team, your chef, into making that sort of like an event for their dining experience. So how can you make something more interactive throughout that dining experience? Intergenerational programming, that's something that has always been talked about for a very long time. Incorporating children, inviting the grandkids in, talking with the Boy Scouts or the Girl Guides or schools or sports teams or music schools is really great to invite in. And I have a lot of different suggestions for that too for the summer. Passive engagement stations. So if you are working in a memory care community, that might be something that you want to look into, something that you can incorporate on an individual level, different activities that are independent when you may not be there, that they can still access and be able to use outside of regular programming ideas or time, sorry. AI assisted planning. AI is a huge topic right now. Everybody's talking about AI. Some people love AI, some people don't love AI. At GoIcon, we love AI. We love everything that that it can help us do, because I look at the past when I was in a community without any technology. Like, I come from the time where we were handwriting everything down in charts and handwriting all of your attendance and all of your assessments and everything like that. And now I look at all of the technology that is implemented specifically with GoIcon, and it's such a time saver. So now we have AI, which people can jump on the bandwagon or not, but it's a tool that we have now available to make that programming even more specific to the residents and the community that you have. So, for example, at GoIcon, we have what we call our life story interviews, where you can um, do an interview on just by speaking with somebody, and it can record everything that you're talking about and then put it into the life story interview. And with that information behind the scenes, our AI can help create programming based on that specific person. It's amazing. We didn't have this way back in the day, and now we do. So I think that we should be taking advantage of all of the AI that we have. Um, and I know that a lot of people that are already GoIcon users are using the technology that we have. And then flexible all-day engagement. I don't mean that you need to be keeping your residents busy all day long, because I don't want to be busy all day long. I'm sure you don't want to be busy all day long. But what I mean is having things available for your residents throughout the day so that they can passively participate in things during the day. Can you then, sorry, I'm just looking at the chat too. Can you then have life stories available for members to view? You can, in GoIcon, you can have your bios available so that your residents can put their bio on their profile if you have that app. All right, let's keep going. What's in and what's out for summer programming? And we just touched a little bit on this, but generic socials, they're out. Immersive themes, they're in. Staff doing everything, that's out. Resident involvement or resident-led programming, that's in. Entertainment only, that's out. Interactive participation, and what I mean by that is entertainment that you have that is going to interact with the residents. Example would be Elvis dancing with all of your residents, a magician coming in and interacting with your residents, that sort of thing. An interactive entertainment rather than just sitting. That's okay too, if your residents like that, but I'm just providing other sort of solutions here. One size fits all programs has never been in, but it's out again. And multi-level adaptations are in. So finding one program and discovering different ways that you can make it either more challenging, less challenging. How can we adapt this program so that all different levels within your community are able to participate on their own level and have success that way? And then we just talked about all-day engagement, not really being all-day engagement, but it is providing those resources to everybody. Okay, some top summer holidays and celebrations. And you'll be getting a copy of all of this after, so you don't really need to write it down if you don't want to. But you can take a screenshot if you'd like to, or jump right in here with the link that I put in our chat and add your own ideas as to what you are going to be working on throughout this month. All right, so June, we have Father's Day, it's Pride Month, summer solstice, Juneteenth, in Canada, National Indigenous Peoples Day, World Oceans Day, National Hydration Day, and I have a lot more ideas coming later on in more slides. July, Canada Day, July 4th, and this one's a big one for July 4th. It is the 250th anniversary, isn't it? Shark Week is coming up, National Ice Cream Month, Christmas in July is a different idea, National Watermelon Month, and I've got another idea for that. Oh, somebody just commented International Yoga Day, nice. National Relaxation Day in August, Dog Days of Summer, Senior Citizens Day, National Root Beer Float Day. We've got some back to school themes you can do in August, and Friendship Day. And then some more themes that I've added here, and we can continue to add. So unmute and share or right in this, would be some Summer Olympics, even though it's not Summer Olympics year, it's fun to do. 50s Diner. Take Me Out to the Ball Game is always a fun one. I have so much fun with Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Gone Fishing, Christmas in July again, which I feel like I get Christmased out, so I'm not a big fan of Christmas in July, but some people love to do it. When Life Gives You Lemons, Watermelon Week, Space Week, Camp Week. There's so many different themes. I think out of these, my favorite are always doing Camp Week, and I liked Watermelon Week too. That's just me though. Okay, so an example for a watermelon week, and I'll change this and do watermelon week instead of watermelon day. So instead of just serving watermelon, which is kind of boring, I think that immersive programming would be more of incorporating different types of programming throughout the week. Again, touching on, intellectual, physical. In here, I've added in some science programs, some games, and things that you can do with your staff members too. So let's go over some examples and then shout out anything that you'd like to add too. So for a watermelon week, add in some watermelon tasting. You can do I've shown right here. Let me scroll over here. Watermelon cucumber feta salad, making watermelon pizza, watermelon smoothies, watermelon Rice Krispie treats. There's so many different things that you could do. Watermelon trivia, of course. Dress like pink and green. Watermelon colors, watermelon mocktails, and a suggestion that I've done in the past, but then COVID came around, was watermelon seed spitting contest, but we can't do that anymore. So now watermelon eating contest, just like this picture right here. That I've done that before, and that was really fun. Let's see, there we go. Making a summer playlist, getting out on your patio and just enjoying together. Watermelon carving, so kind of like pumpkin carving, but having your chef, or you can do it too, but carve some really cool watermelon art pieces. Or getting your residents to jump in and do that too. That's really fun. And so these are all, I've grabbed these from Pinterest. Oh, can you immersive themes? Yes, I can. I'm looking in our chat. Okay, cool. Love that. I'll show you over here. This was me back a few years ago when I did a watermelon week, and that was a watermelon eating contest that I was in, and I ended up having a watermelon shirt sort of costume. I think it was a kid's Halloween costume, but it ended up being a shirt on me. And I had a trunk full of watermelons that I had to go get at that time, so I thought it was really funny. And then this is what I did for my main entrance. And then all of these watermelons we ended up either eating or carving, or, I think I bowled with one of them at one point. So this is just a way that you can add different types of ideas into your theme week. So again, science experiments, some crafts. Any suggestions for, oh, there's some on the side. Let me see. Oh, gotta get over there. Oh no, that's mine. Okay. All right.
I put some suggestions in the chat.
Did you? Okay, great. I feel like I'm trying to look at the chat, look at there too. So thank you.
No problem. I couldn't figure out the sticky note.
That's okay. If anybody else wants to unmute and share, please do. All right, let's go on to our next. So building a better theme, sort of like the making it a stronger theme would be incorporating the decor, food and drinks, music, signature events. So if you're doing one theme throughout your week, what's your big one event that you're doing? What is that big special, like, wow, event that you're putting on for your residents? And then incorporating games, having some guest speakers in, and there's so many free guest speakers out there that you just need to ask for. And in this um, presentation that I'm going to be sending you afterwards, I actually have a template at the end that either asks people to donate some of their time to come in and share whatever their knowledge is, or donations for different um, supplies. So you'll see that too at the end. Okay. And then adapting programs for memory care, independent engagement. So what types of things are you going to be leaving out if you can for your residents to be able to do on their own when you're not there? Are you going to make that the same theme so that everything's cohesive, or how are we doing that? Are we inviting family members to come in and join us? So if we're having a big event, are we inviting them in? Are we encouraging them to download GoIcon while they're there? You know? And what photo ops can we have? Are we doing a backdrop? Are we taking pictures? Are we sending the pictures? Are we inviting the news to come in so that you have some publicity? So yeah, taking a look at building your better theme is incorporating a lot of these different things into your activities. So a theme example. Theme example I did here was a camp theme. I'm a camp girl. I was a camper, camp counselor, and my kids are now campers. And it's my son for the first time went to my old camp and saw my name on the wall, and that was pretty cool. But here's some ideas just to give you a few. For decor, what I used to do was grab all of our artificial plants and put them into one area, into our multi-purpose room, so that it sort of looked like a forest. I would then put out like a cooler. I would put some empty soda cans or full ones. I would bring in my sleeping bags or fishing poles to make it look really campy, like an actual camp theme and how it would feel for them. I would also put on in the background sounds of birds chirping, or like what a camp scenario would sound like to make that even more immersive. I would bring a tent even. I've done that a lot of times, and then put my sleeping bag in the tent, and then they've never gone in it, but it's been there, so it looks like that theme. And then programs would be campfire stories are always fun. A new idea that I just heard recently was campfire stories, but only doing a few sentences. So you would do the start of a story, and then the next person would take over, and then the next person would take over, and it continues on. And it ends up being a really hilarious story that sometimes makes no sense, but it's really fun. And then for a fishing game, there's a few different ways that I've done this before. I have cut out different fish and then added magnets to them and had a fishing pole with a magnet on the end of that. So they're actually casting and fishing, and they're getting the fish with the magnet and then reeling it in. I've also done in the past printing off a lot of different fish on the ground, and instead of having a fishing line, I've done rings or bean bags. So they're not actually fishing, but they're throwing the beanbag or the ring so that it can go on top of the fish. Scavenger hunts. I've done a different few ways of scavenger hunts. I've done physical items that they're looking for. I've also done images of different things that they're looking for. And so what I would do is print off a sheet that has all of the different items that you decided that they're looking for. And then pair them up with a resident or with a staff member, or they can do it independently too, depending on your community. And then off they go. And it could be like a daily thing. So maybe you hide one thing each day, and then that person that finds it brings it to you and they win a prize, or you can do it that they have to go search for everything. I've also done a few that were flowers that could also go along with this. And so you would have a sheet of paper with the different types of flowers on it, and you actually need to find the flower and stick it into the sheet. So then it ends up being basically a paper full of flowers, which is a different idea too. A camp sing along, of course. Beaded jewelry making. If you already have a jewelry club, you could get them to initiate some jewelry making. Tie dye is fun. Something that I've done instead of tie dye, because that can get really messy, is having sheets or fabric of some sort with water guns that have paint inside of it. And so then they're able to squirt all over the fabric, and then it ends up being like kind of a nice backdrop too if you're using it for something else later on. So that's an easier way. Camp games, and then maybe you could even do some badge collecting. So if they come to an activity, they get a badge, and then at the end of the week, hopefully they have a lot of badges. For food for this, you could do a s'mores bar, you could make some trail mix, you could do hot dog roasting, you could have a corn roast. You could invite in a park ranger or a scout leader. One time I had a resident who was a scout leader for the longest time, a Boy Scout leader, and he came in with all of his patches all over him, and he was able to tell really amazing stories about growing up as a Boy Scout and then also being a leader as a Boy Scout too. So if you have any residents that used to do this or something related to the theme that you're going to be doing in the summer, ask them to share their stories. And other residents really love hearing what they have to say. So you could try that. You could invite a fishing guide in. You could invite a camp counselor in, that somebody that used to be a camp counselor. And then independent engagement, nature trivia cards you could put out on dining room tables so that when they come to sit down at the dining room, there's a nice little table tent that has a few questions on it, or it could even be a laminated card if that's not something that you'd like to have out on your table. It depends on the way that you want it to look, but you can make them pretty. You know, you could have summer memory jars, so you could put in different objects that they can look through, more like a sensory bin. Again, that scavenger hunt came up twice, and other craft stations. Any other things that we should add to this? Any other camp themes? Is anybody doing a camp theme this summer? No? Maybe now you are. All right.
I never had, but these are great ideas. It's definitely sparking some interest.
There you go. There you go. And even if you're not doing what I have on here, I'm sure it will get the wheels turning into something else. Okay, a pool or beach theme. I'm not going to go through all these because there's a lot more that I'd like to do here in our chat. But for some programs, beach volleyball, maybe you want to do a limbo contest with your staff members and your residents can hold up the limbo bar, some seashell sorting, pool noodle games. Everybody has a ton of pool noodles these days. Sandcastle decorating. I used to do at one of my communities, we would do, instead of gingerbread houses, we would actually do gigantic cardboard houses. So we would make them out of cardboard. They would be giant. And then we would decorate the giant box within our department. So each department got to do their own what we called gingerbread house, but it was more people were able to participate with it, and it was something that they look forward to every year. And so I was just thinking right now about how you could do a sand castle in the same big version of that. I feel like you could make basically like a sand castle village with some giant, I don't know. My wheels are turning now. Just an idea. Some tropical trivia. You can do some mocktails, frozen lemonade. If anybody has one of those ninja smoothie slushy machines, those are great to have. Or if you need to invest in something, those are great to have in your communities. Some decor, beach umbrellas, pool floats, flowers, sunglasses, and then other engagement, steel drum music, Beach Boys, tropical playlist. Okay. I have a lot of different ideas now for summer, and they're sort of a little bit all over. So let's try our best here. So, activity ideas, water balloon tosses, outdoor painting, like paint and sips, but on the patio. And jump in here, anybody, at any time. Sidewalk chalk art. This is great for when you have family events because it'll just wash right off. So you can get the kids out there doing some chalk art. You can also invite some of your local artists to come do some chalk art. They'll usually do that within your communities. I like to do a lot of my word games with chalk on the ground because I'll just hose it off right afterwards and then everybody can see it all on the ground. Some bird watching, giant bubbles I've never done, but that was an idea that came up. Beanbag baseball, so that would be throwing your beanbag on different bases that you can put out. Pool noodle games, of course, picnics, gardening clubs, outdoor karaoke, lawn bowling. I know bocce ball is a big one. Outdoor movie night. You can rent one of those giant big screens, the blow up inflatable big screens, and they can do a night out in the patio. Food ideas. Well, does anybody have any more ideas just for any activities at all before I continue? No? Okay. Oh, there's some in the chat. Amazing. Oh, refillable water balloons. Nice. Okay. Food and social ideas. Build your own sundae bar, of course. Popsicle carts, berry smoothie station, hot dog bar, watermelon carving contest we talked about. S'mores nachos. So those are like graham crackers all on one big tray with chocolate and then the marshmallows on top too. Delicious. And if you don't have a fire pit, throw them in the oven. If you don't have an oven, put them in the microwave. Not with the tin. Don't put the tin in. Lemonade tasting flight tasting. You could do all sorts of different lemonades, like peach lemonade. You could do like lavender lemonades. You can add in all sorts of different types of lemonades or iced teas too. Those are really good. And you get them in like beautiful little glassware and then sort of have it like a flight so it looks fancy. You could have it at your bar if you'd like. You could have it during your social hours, whatever. Corn on the cob, we said corn roast before, backyard barbecues. If you're able to have a fire pit, it is so fun to be able to roast your own hot dogs. I love doing that. Root beer floats, strawberry shortcakes. June is strawberry season for us, at least where I am. So there's always lots of strawberries going on there. And then inviting in an ice cream truck even to come in. Or in Canada, we call them the people that ride the bicycles with the ice cream, we call them Dickie D's here. I'm not sure what you call them there, but Dickie D's are fun to invite in too. Sensory ideas. So citrus scent station. There's lots of different things that you can do with citrus, but it's a great scent that you can have. You can even do like citrus hand lotions. You can do citrus painting or stamping. So lots of different things. You could do like use the peels for different things, make bird seed feeders with those. Ice painting is kind of cool. What you do with this is you have an ice cube tray, and while you're filling them up, you're putting different colors of food coloring in it, in the ice, and so it freezes, and then you can even put a stick in, so it's more like a popsicle, and then they can paint with that water and food coloring onto a page. Or you can do that outside too. So it's not using real paint, it's using ice that's colored. Kinetic sand is always fun because you can shape it and mold it, but then it just comes right apart afterwards. It can get a little dirty though, like it can get messy. So just be cautious about that. Seashell sorting. I love getting different types of seashells that also look similar. So you can put all of the like the ones that look like a cone, they can all be sorted together. The ones that are flat, they can all be sorted over here. You can sort by colors. You could even put those in the kinetic sand and they have to go through them. So this is more of a memory care type activity too. Flower arranging. I've done different ways of flower arranging. I've done artificial flowers in colanders. I might have a colander here. You know, a big colander, and then you flip it upside down and you can get them to put their artificial flowers within the backside of the colander so that you can reuse that a lot. Or you can use a vase too. And if you don't want it to be glass, you can get plastic ones as well. Um, After holidays, a lot of different stores, like grocery stores, I think maybe even Walmart sometimes that have flowers, they'll donate a lot of their extra flowers. So make sure that you're asking those different types of stores if they'll donate afterwards, after holidays, because a lot of them will in exchange for social media posts. So check that out for sure. Frozen washcloth sorting. This is a new one for me. I've just recently discovered this. And what it is you're getting wet face cloths or washcloths and you're putting them in the freezer so that they are frozen. And then your residents are trying to unfold them. And so you freeze them squished up and they're trying to unfold them. And so they're using the heat from their hands to be able to like tear it, not tear it, but unwrinkle them. Does that make sense? Everybody get that? Okay. Bubble wrap painting. You can make a lot of different textures with that. Summer lotion spa. I love that with all of the nice summer smells. Water beads. Just be careful that they are not any residents that are going to put anything in their mouth for all of these, of course. Yeah, summer scent guessing games, again, like coconut, vanilla, citrus, that type of smell that reminds you of summer. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the chat too at the same time. Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, put essential oils in them. My yoga class does lavender in the frozen hand wash class. Brain fitness and trivia ideas. Summer trivia, of course. Finish the summer song. So think like summer lovin', and then had me a blast, that sort of thing. Beach movie trivia. So any movies that are around the beach, do some trivia about those. Travel guessing games. I've even done a summer vacation map before. So if you have maybe your state or it could be the country even, where did they travel to in the summer, or where have they traveled to anywhere at any time on vacation, and have them put little pins anywhere that they've been on that map, and have your staff members do that too. And it is so cool to see all of the places that everybody in your community has been to. Summer crossword wall. You could put a giant crossword up on your wall, print it off, and then you could have a collective community crossword going throughout the summer. Again, name that tune. Word scrambles, campfire storytelling we already talked about. Would You Rather is such an easy program to do at any time. So like, would you rather camp in a chalet or cottage, or would you rather camp in a tent? And then they say, oh, I'd rather camp in a tent, or raise your hand if you would rather camp in a tent, or raise your hand if you'd rather camp in a cottage. I'm a cottage girl myself. But those are easy ones that you can do at any time, anywhere. Like they're waiting to go into the dining room. Let's do a would you rather out there. We talked about guess the scent. Some are price guessing games, so kind of like a Price is Right. So what's the cost of things these days? See if they know the cost of things. Old commercials, travel destinations. All right. Some intergenerational programs. So if you wanted to invite any of your family members to come in or invite some kids from the community or some soccer teams or any other um, younger people, maybe you do a lemonade stand together with your residents and them. Maybe you're doing some chalk art out there. Maybe you're doing summer reading buddies with your residents and a younger child. Water balloon games again, popsicle socials, gardening together, a talent show. On talent show, the music schools always need to practice performing in front of people. So I, in the past, have invited a lot of different music schools to come in, and they're usually younger, tiny little kids that are playing 30-second songs on the piano that really aren't amazing, but they're so cute, and the residents have loved them, and they need the practice, and so it's kind of like a win-win. Ice cream truck visits again. We talked a lot about some of these already. Patriotic parades, more scavenger hunts. Guest speakers. I added a lot for guest speakers because I feel like it's an extra program that residents like to go to. They like to meet new people. They like to see sometimes they get sick of us, right? Like we're around a lot. And so sometimes it's nice to have a fresh face in there. So here are some ideas for educational guest speakers. Invite a meteorologist, a historian, a beekeeper. I've had a beekeeper a few times come in that was a family member, and they were awesome and brought in honey and talked all about the whole process of it. Wildlife rehabilitator, an astronomer, a master gardener. And I'm sure that you'll have these clubs or societies in your community. Every community has these societies that you can ask them to come in. A travel agent, the librarian, a nutritionist, an author, interactive guests, doing some chef demonstrations. You could do some drum circles, yoga. You probably already have yoga. Florist, magician, mocktail instructor or cocktail instructor. Therapy animals, of course, dance instructors, art instructors. Now, unexpected guest speakers, tattoo artists. And I saw this thing today, actually, that was really cool. It was residents doing fake tattoos on a balloon. And the goal wasn't to make it look pretty or anything. It was in a memory care community, and they had the resident have a balloon in front of them and have fake tattoos. And so they would put the fake tattoo on the balloon and get them to use the wet cloth and wipe it down and then peel that off, of course. And then they just decorated this entire balloon and made it look pretty as to how they liked it. And I thought that was a really cool idea. I've never seen anything like that, but it's like using the textures of what you're holding, and you have something wet and cold, and it was really neat. So that's a brand new idea I just saw. Funeral director. I don't know. There's sometimes they have interesting stories. Cruise ship employee, airport worker, radio DJ. I also think that it's fun to have your own radio show in your communities too. So an example could be like your own, maybe not a radio, but nowadays you could do a podcast, a community-wide podcast. And what I would do is have somebody be your host and interview different residents. And that doesn't need to go anywhere. It can stay within your community and they can listen to these episodes. Or you can do it live and have that recorded too. I used to do a program called Afternoon Biographies, and I would work with each resident. We would create an entire PowerPoint together, and I'd talk to their family members. They would give me more pictures, and then we'd go down to the theater and they would do a presentation about their life. and share stories. And lots of residents would come down because they wanted to support other residents. And so those were a huge hit to learn a little bit more about each other. A chocolatier, an antique appraiser, a paranormal investigator. I've also had a psychic come in, which was kind of fun. Wedding planner, an influencer in the community. So that could be, we have a the man that uses the bell that goes hear ye, hear ye. I'm not sure what his name. The town crier. That's who it was. He came in at one point too. And then schools and youth. Some student bands, Boy Scouts, some camping groups, dance schools, drama clubs, summer camps, youth sports. Tons and tons of different community people that could come into your community. And family members. Family members have amazing experience with different things. Like I once had a professional pickleball player come in and do a demo with her friends, and that was really cool. And another family member was an author that came in and shared all about her book and the process of writing her book. So that was neat too. Some backyard games, beanbag twister, putting out a twister mat and having them spin the twister wheel, and then whatever it lands on, you need to throw the beanbag onto the twister. Bocce ball, washer toss, some pool noodles, mini golf. We've seen this trending whack-a-mole that everybody's done. Beach ball batting or kicking, parachute games. Fundraising ideas. You could do a ice cream social with pay what you can donations. You could do a staff pie in the face or dunk tank at one of your events. Adopt a plant sale from your resident gardening club. A community car wash. You could do some themed bingo nights, a craft sale with all resident made arts and cards. You could do a patriotic bake sale or barbecue. And then I just added in a few extra pictures that you could take a look at, like DIY ice cream in a bag, the water gun painting that I just spoke about, water balloon toss in this. These are rock painting and making a rock garden out by your sidewalk you could do. S'mores, making s'mores out with the sun. And then this one is tic-tac-toe, but you're throwing frisbees onto a giant tic-tac-toe. I'm not going to read these, but these are other national fun days that I can share off to you afterwards that you could take a look at. And I gave you a couple ideas as to how to incorporate some activities into those different theme days. And then we only have about 10 minutes left. So I thought we could just sort of open this up now and see, is there anything that you want to do, but you don't know how to do, or something, an idea that you liked that you saw, or I'm just going to open it up a little bit. What's a program that you always get really great attendance for? And you could write in the chat or you can unmute. Oh, butterfly release. Great idea. I've seen that before. I'll go through some of these questions here, or ideas. Have dietary incorporate a cooking demo with watermelon in the recipe. Absolutely. Guess the weight of the watermelon. That's a great one. Decorate your own kite. Amazing. Bubble blowing, of course. The refillable water balloons, again, that was a great idea. Outside yoga, butterfly garden, butterfly release. Put some essential oils on your residence. Yep. Grandparents' Day activity. In Canada, Grandparents' Day is in September. Is that when is it in for the States?
Yeah, it's September.
Yeah.
For us too. I'm jumping ahead.
You're ahead of the game, Tracy.
Yes.
They're honored to come to your community and talk about what they're passionate about. Absolutely. Puppy yoga, invite shelter pups. The news station. Yep. Great ideas. Amazing. Are there any themes that you're planning throughout the summer?
We're doing a red, white, and blue ball
Ooh,
for the
nice.
250th.
Yeah. So what are you incorporating in that?
We're doing tours to all the historical societies throughout the community, as well as lectures throughout the year. And then we're doing the red, white, and blue ball, and we're doing a couple like patriotic crafts and things like that to go with it, as well as dining's involved. And so it's a whole experience.
It's
Awesome.
immersive and experiential. Yeah, you're trending, Patricia.
We actually have a woman coming in, and she's going to dress up as a period character and then give a talk about the history of a house and what the house lived through its life, which is kind of
So
neat.
cool. Yeah,
That's
that's really
awesome.
cool. What's everybody else doing for the July 4th, 250? Any big events that are going on for the rest of you that are in here? Don't be shy. No, that's all right. That's okay. All right, let's see. Okay, we'll keep going here. And then my last slide is just that I think that we'll continue to do some brainstorming sessions if this was beneficial to any of you, if you got any sort of little ideas out of this. I think it's really great to bring each other's ideas in together. I was actually, sorry, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I was speaking with somebody last night and she had a resident that was blind, but he loved to, like in the past, he really loved art. And so she had brought him to an art project, but she was having a lot of hard times with him because it just wasn't working out. And so we were brainstorming back and forth about what we could do that he would be able to feel what he's painting. And so what we came across was using clay to, and then we would get like leaves or different materials from outside, and he would press those materials into the clay so that it would make a um a stamp. And so what he would do afterwards, oh, oh, so what he would do afterwards was using the stamp that he had made with all of these different nature items, he would stamp it onto the page and he'd actually be able to feel as he's doing that. So that was kind of cool. And then we also talked a lot about leaf rubbings, which he could actually feel over top of the leaf if you put a leaf down and then you put paper on top and then use different materials like crayons, over top, and then he could feel that. So that was another idea that we came up with too together. Are there any other ideas that you are hoping to do this summer or any other final comments? I know we're right at times, so I don't want to take up any more of your time. You're busy, busy. No?
We've also done Casablanca night, and that
Cool.
again was an immersive experience. And we also did a I can't think of what it's called, a speakeasy night, which
Oh,
was a
that's
lot of fun.
fun.
And the residents dress up and get really involved in it. So the music, everything, we have a signature cocktail, everything revolves around it. We really, for Casablanca night, we set up Rick's Cafe and we actually had doors that led in and it all was lit up. It was really neat.
Cool. Any other neat themes that you've done? They don't have to be summer related that anybody would like to share. No. All right. Well, I will send all of this off to you so that you have all of these slides. And then I'll also send this recording to you and make sure you write back to me and let me know what you've used and how it went. I'd love to hear that. And of course, just shoot me an email if you ever want to brainstorm one-on-one too. So thank you all for coming. It was great to see
Thank
you.
you.
Have a great day. Have a great week. Bye, Abby. Bye, Gina. Bye, Patricia.